Quas dominating the jungle. Boy in that mid lane, Cop at AD carry, and Xpecial as support.
And on the red side, it is Evil Geniuses. Inox in the top lane, Snoopy in the jungle, Pobelter in mid, Alltech on AD carry, and of course Crepo on support.
And we've definitely been seeing the solo lanes of EG play a lot more solid consistency from Pobelter in the, it's not even to the loss, it's even just to hold the lane and keep it for the team to actually have a lot more control over objectives, because Snoopy's been playing well from out of the jungle.
Yeah, I really wonder how much EG is going to be able to kind of come together now. They had so much turmoil in the offseason where they said 3 of their roles were up for replacement and tryouts.
Right.
The only role that they've swapped out here was Alltech for Yellow Pete, and maybe this is the week where they kind of turn it around, knowing that they've had a little bit of stability. Maybe there'll be more roster changes to come, but for now it seems like Snoopy's kind of coming back into his own gameplay. Maybe they'll do better against Chris this time.
Kha'Zix's taken away from Snoopy, the first ban that Curse had thought out coming into this game. We've seen a lot of Orianna gameplay changing these games as well, so she gets put on the ban list.
Very interesting. Boy having much respect for that Orianna.
Giving love to Pobelter. Hey, man.
Yeah, we gotta
keep the beat. Crowd's loving it.
In the crowd.
Champion select is nothing to toy with.
And this is another thing that has never happened before. At the
Dominate
LCS.
bans his own Eve.
Wow. Dominate played 4 games on Eve to very little success. He was receiving a lot of criticism publicly for kind of being invisible in games, both on Evelynn and in the game himself.
Ooh.
But
it was, though.
It ends up being banned away by Curse. Maybe they were taking Eve because they were bad at playing against it. You know how teams do that frequently. But he just hadn't been able to pull it off for himself. And since they had the luxury of blue side in this sense, they got to target a lot of their bans more specifically.
I'm really impressed they're keeping the beat, and it hasn't just turned into a clap. This is a hype champion select. All right, 27's on the clock here for Quas to be locking something in. And thanks for, I was going to say that, Quas.
Yeah, maybe they do Lulu. Curse finds most of their success when they pick Lulu and then
do whatever they want.
Make Quas big on something.
Yep.
That's generally their strat, whether it's Mundo or Shyvana or Renekton. Those are the 3.
So, Inox doesn't have to worry about getting something he can carry on anymore. It's kind of like they've allowed him to now start doing that. So we may see the Shiv pick up quick for him in that lane. A lot of the top lane has just been left open lately. Yeah, there it is. The 1-2 locked in quite quick. Alltech actually picks up a Lucian this time. He's also been a Corki fan lover
for most of this, but there had also been some pretty heavy AD carry bans in the games that Alltech was a part of. He's a prolific Lucian player, like all AD carries in the LCS. I like it, though. One funny thing about EG that we kind of need to touch on is Pobelter was in high school throughout all the last split. And EG was saying, all right, well, as soon as he's done high school, it'll be better for team cohesion and practice. We're going to be able to move on. Pobelter graduates high school, they pick up Alltech, who's still in high school. And every week, Alltech actually has to travel back to Vancouver, where he goes to school, and come back. He's going to have summer pretty soon, so 2 more weeks of that, and then they'll be able to play the rest of the split unhindered. It's just an interesting little aside.
I wish that's what I did on my summers when I was a kid. Playing the LCS. Going to see what we have coming in for Xpecial, and it wouldn't be anything less than a Thresh for him. This is safety for Cop. They tried to run the Jinx yesterday without the Thresh. Cop has actually been one of the most versatile AD carries. I'd say for AD carries we don't usually see. Pulling out the Jinx, pulling out the MF. See what he has today.
He's trying things. He's shown a lot of versatility this split, just not a lot of success.
Right.
Most of Curse has had a pretty lackluster performance thus far. Cop with the Thresh, I imagine they will be laning together this game. I really want to see if they have more success. Cop and Xpecial need to perform in order for Curse to succeed this split.
Dominate locking in the Elise, puts himself back on something that's more memorable to start out those early game ganks. Something you possibly help Boy on. Seeing quite a bit of AP with those selections. Maybe a Yasuo would have come in here for Boy seeing the rest of the team.
Yeah. Well, I wonder, would this be the time to break back out? If he hasn't locked it in, they're probably not breaking back out the Jarvan. But he has seen a little bit of a resurgence since the, at least in solo queue, since the 4.7 patch and changes to his passive.
Getting a lockdown on a Zyra ultimate would be pretty sweet. We'll see what they have. Oh, they lock in the Charmander. Very nice.
I like it. I like it a lot, especially, there's a couple reasons for this. Of the main AD carry picks, especially with Twitch still being available, and Cop liking to play things like Varus and Misfortune, there would be no escape from a Jarvan ultimate. And they're either making it so he traps himself in with Jarvan, or has to play an AD carry he's not necessarily as proficient with.
Oh.
And Snoopy, he used to be a big-time Jarvan player, so it's a bit of a return to comfort.
And this is one of the 80 carries Cop picked up mid-season. Looks like he goes to Kalen. What a troll to the crowd.
Yeah.
But it may be also the Yasuo for Voyboy, something he loves. He brings a big backpack when he puts on that Yasuo play.
He's probably Voyboy's best champion, Yasuo. And holy crap, EG has just went for some throwbacks.
Wow.
In Champ Select. Jarvan and Karthus.
All the circles.
Yeah. I like this, actually, because I was talking with Crepo. He actually doesn't like Zyra that much as a support because he can't initiate with it. It's mainly this thing used for counter initiation, but if they have initiation, he says he's okay playing it. So when they picked the Zyra, they picked a much stronger follow-up from the jungle, a very reliable initiation in Jarvan, especially against this team on Curse, who everyone can't dash out of it, you know?
Right.
I like this. We'll look for Snoopy to go in big with the Cataclysm, and then Crepo to follow with the Zyra ultimate to really just try and mess things up in a big AoE cluster.
I'm really,
big throwback.
Really surprised we didn't see Broken Shard do that first. But Snoopy's bringing out the Jarvan. Going to see some great gameplay coming here in Game 2. Curse versus coming in on EG. Like we said, both of these teams need these wins, especially early in the split. We've seen a lot of teams start to falter now, and it almost writes the story for the condition of the rest of their split.
Yeah, and EG is a team that has just kind of continually deteriorated over the years, and that's why they made the big change. More of the core being broken up to bring in Altec. It should be the start of something new, and what's that change really for if they can't get that number 6 spot?
Right.
Being stuck at the bottom of the standings doesn't make change feel good.
No, it does not, but it's time to put you on the spot and see who you are predicting at home to win. According to LOLesports.com, you're handing this one to Curse with 63% of the vote.
Yeah, pretty close votes. Keep sending them in as well if you want to change them to @LOLesports throughout the game. You use either the hashtag CRSWin or EGWin, and we'll be updating that poll in a little bit.
So again, Cop cycling on to a different AD carry. Something we are going to mention to watch in this game, you said it a little bit before, is that especially the past 2 games after the first few minutes has been with Quas.
Yes, they've been playing the lane swap game in their own way. They've been soloing Cop when they can, and he's honestly pretty good in the solo lane. When he was on Lucian in the game they won, it was actually very successful. Quas is protected in his farm a little bit so he doesn't fall behind. There are reasons they're doing it strategically, but then you also just kind of have to question, you bring in Cop and X Special. It's this A-tier support. He made the all-league team. He's supposed to be making Cop this god of AD carry because he's been consistent for so long with a revolving door of supports. And then you don't even lane them together. It's like they're wasting this great opportunity and strength of the team. Or something is just off between X Special and Cop.
Right. All right, now taking a quick break, allowing the players to compose themselves. We know that Voyboy at the beginning of the game sometimes, just kind of need to calm as well.
Dominate.
Actually, Dominate has actually left his seat. But the team gets behind each other on this. We've talked about it before. They they let each other know everything is fine, and sometimes you just get a little worked up. These games mean a lot to these players, more so than you think, and you're seeing the effect of it now.
Yeah, it's been actually a pretty big thing for Curse in general. It used to be with Voyboy. It's happened once with Dominate this year where they need some time to compose themselves before the game. Especially with the picks and bans being done already, just a lot of thinking to be done. Quas actually Lulu in the top lane. We didn't get to touch on this.
That's true,
where
kind of.
When we saw the Lulu pick, we just assumed it would be Voyboy because he's so good on Lulu. Quas as well actually spends a lot of time in the mid lane with his Swain and such, so he does kind of have those mage mechanics and training. He can hopefully allow Voyboy to get even more knock-up synergy with his ultimate, but it's an interesting choice, Lulu up against Shyvana should hold a lot of lane advantage if they end up getting that matchup.
Still looking at summoner spells across the board in that matchup. It would be quite nice, obviously, the teleport for Quas, but we haven't been seeing the 2v1s, something that Quas actually likes because he's an innovator. And I would actually like to see him go up against what Inox has. Both of them kind of on their own little increase, but still have a long way to go in their skill potential.
Yeah, Quas and Inox seem like these top laners with so much potential, but they haven't necessarily shown true that frequently. I mean, towards the end of the spring split, I was thinking Quas was the third best top laner in North America then. And he performed pretty well in the playoffs, but he's got that inconsistency.
Right.
Sometimes he just lets himself fall way behind in games. You look at someone like Inox as well, and he is relied upon often to try and carry the team, and that's a really hard situation to put a top laner in the current game state. You know, he does well in lane, but then if he's on something like Kha'Zix and the rest of the team is behind, coming in and making that impact is really difficult for him.
You're already a few steps behind. You're the one that's going to be focused out. They make it work sometimes. Lately, the consistency has really been going up for the top laners of both of these teams, as we were saying. So it's going to be on them to make this one count. Mid laners, we saw Pobelter having quite a good game the other day. He's been trying himself on Orianna, but that's been making an impact in the compositions like shield, crowd control. Right now, it's all about Zyra coming back and the crowd control of the centrals of the circles. Nunu, Zyra.
It even drew the Orianna ban in this one.
Right.
And I actually feel like with a Lulu pick early, may have created an interesting story in the picks and bans here. Karthus versus Yasuo, actually, instead of Karthus versus Lulu. I wonder how he's going to play that matchup, whether he has to go in early Seekers on Karthus to try and deal with the incredible amount of damage Voyboy can put on Yasuo, or if he goes really cautious, does the Catalyst tier full mana Karthus build that we've seen so many people do and somehow avoids Voyboy's aggression. I want to see how Pobelter plays it because he picked that Karthus fairly confidently.
If you think about it, how hard is it going to be to hit a Q? Yasuo's dashing all around, so it's almost like you're there to farm. You can try to push it back off of the turret, but you'll probably just kind of keep the lane even the whole time. It'll be interesting to see. Still waiting for these guys to get ready, waiting on Dominate to get back into the game once he's got himself composed. The teams can chat during this, so it's not like they're kind of
It's because
off.
nothing of effect has actually happened in the game yet, so they're able to still each strategize.
All right, well, we've got a minute. We're going to actually throw it over to Freak and Kobe at the analyst desk.
Thank you very much, Riv. We're also joined by Skara from Dignitas. There's the proper crowd cheer. Woo, Skara! Yeah, so welcome to the desk, man.
Oh, thank you. It's great to be on here.
So I got to say, your team looks freaking great right now, by the way.
Yeah.
Dignitas. What happened, just in your own words?
It's all luck.
It's all luck.
Yeah, we just lucked out like 5 times in a row. And then one game we were unlucky, so.
Yeah, makes sense.
You did go on a pretty big streak last split.
Right.
And then it didn't turn out so well. How are you going to keep this one, Dignitas, rolling forward and keep winning?
Well, we have a set of lucky dice pre-roll before we set out, and so we're just hoping that it rolls good for us.
Okay. Do you just keep rolling them if you get the wrong number?
It only works once a week.
Okay.
Well, it's no wonder you lost against Curse. They used to live in Vegas, so of course they're better at like dice games and stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
Makes so much
I think
sense.
they live in Vegas.
No, I said they used to.
Okay.
You got to pay more attention, Kobe. It's okay. Keep up.
But yeah, I just feel like they've been playing really, really well. Like, surprisingly, Dig used to be a team that performed well in scrims, and then probably brought like their scrim record and their LCS performance was about very similar. And then now I feel like we play scrims like worse than we play at LCS. Like when we play at LCS, we play some of the best games I've ever seen. And then when we scrim, I feel sorry for our opponents. So I'm like, I'm sorry for wasting your time. It's actually that big of like a disparity. It's pretty funny.
Well, the team definitely seems to be brimming with confidence. Your match today is versus TSM. What do you think are the most important things for your team heading into the match with TSM?
I just think what they've been doing so far is very good. Like they are excellent at vision control now. Not excellent, but like their vision control is definitely improved. The biggest thing that we've probably worked on is that, as well as the communication inside the game. And so it's stuff that you don't really see as a spectator, but you see like how it works out in the game. And so it's the bigger picture kind of deals. Like I've not gone by each individual player and broken down like how they play. Because quite frankly, some of them are better than me, or most of them are better than me at every position they play. But we just focus on big picture stuff right now, and that's caused our team to become a lot better. Like, and until we can really get a great foundation, we can't really work on like micro-based stuff yet.
And speaking of great foundation, how's the team actually gelling as people?
Oh, it's really good. The only problem I think we've ever had is when we go out to eat and Zion is a vegetarian, and he's
I didn't know that.
That is like literally the only problem. So, and everyone on the team like really loves meat. So we're like, okay, let's go to K barbecue, and then we just look at Zion. And we're like,
here's some kimchi.
Crap. Yeah, like it doesn't work out. But aside from that, everything else is really good.
All right. Well, Scar, thank you very much for your time. We actually are ready to get ourselves back into the game, so we're going to send it back over to Riv and Chat to get us started.
Thank you very much, Freak and Scar, for the impromptu interview. The game is getting underway, so let's jump right onto the Rift to see what Curse and EG are bringing out.
Yeah, really, we got to just kind of recap what we've seen so far. A lot of big picks. Karthus in the mid lane, Jarvan in the jungle for EG. Also to try and synergize with that Zyra support. Curse with a fairly standard composition aside from the Lulu top, something we haven't seen Quas on before. Really want to see how this works out.
It's going to be fantastic. Also get to see Altec on a different AD carry coming out, not Corky this time, as he tries to get settled in with the Evil Geniuses. A lot of us have a little bit of Evil Genius in us, so I'm sure he'll fit in just fine. I haven't seen Karthus in a while either. A lot of cool play to come out of this game. Starts on the pink ward, Dominate. Looks like he's trying to get a little map pressure on this. We'll see where he decides to bring himself when that sweeper pink ward starts.
The lane swap will be very interesting to see if it happens, not only for the AD carries, which is usually why you see the lane swap, but more for the top lane matchup. Wow. How well Quas could actually do against Inox.
Ooh, fancy feet.
EG getting the Twitter vote.
Yeah, remember you can still vote throughout the game. Just hashtag it to @LOL Esports. Lane of scrimmage being set up by both teams. The late invades are pretty much apparent and have continuously been happening. Right now it looks like they're actually going to stay pretty safe though. That early pink ward is defensive indeed.
Trying to make sure Snoopy doesn't sneak in behind them. It's one of the most common early game pink ward strats. You can do that if you start Elise. The only critical thing then is, since you don't have as many health potions, you have to be very good at having your spiderlings tank for you while you're doing the jungle, which I'm sure a jungler Viable Dominate's caliber should be able to do just fine.
Minions have spawned.
4-man stack.
The bushwhack at level 1. Back to the first days of playing League.
Yeah, oh, they're just going to continue going. Cop's probably going to see this one.
No, they're
What do
hovering
they
the
see?
fog
Wow,
perfectly.
where'd they go? They saw that though.
That's not normal.
Yeah, there shouldn't be roots in there.
Wait a minute.
Don't tell Dominate. What's going on here?
No! Oh no! Okay.
You saw the ping go down.
Yeah, that was pretty scary. But there's a lot of focus here for Evil Geniuses. Definitely not going to get to lane in time. It looks like they will be matching up the AD carries, so we're going to see what they can do. And I believe that Inox is going to hang out for a while still.
Yeah, interesting. So Inox still buddying up. He doesn't necessarily want to lane that much against Quas early, so he's going to try and get his early laning probably done in the jungle and then sent to the lane as soon as the lane starts shoving in.
Go back, buy another potion, get to lane, be able to trade a little bit more with that long-range Lulu auto attack. So he's going to be pretty well off in the top lane. Inox can usually hold himself 4-6. That early ward from Snoopy, as we said earlier, keeping himself controlled. Quick pause into the game as they look down the line on the side of Curse, and we'll get Cop all fixed up. Might have a quick particle issue as you see QC standing right behind him, and we'll get that locked in. So the lane matchup will happen for these two AD carries and support, so we will get to factor in whether Xpecial and Cop have really been gelling.
Yeah, I really am excited to see this because they haven't been laning together lately, and Cop and Xpecial should have good synergy. The end of the last split between Cop and Bunny Fufu had tremendous gameplay between the two of them.
Yeah,
they were looking really good.
Some great plays.
Especially now that Xpecial's on Thresh. Those are actually some pretty good Thresh shoes to live up into. Bunny Fufu's Thresh was incredible in the LCS. And going against Crepo and Altec, a newer bot lane, only playing 1 week together, Altec being the youngest player in the LCS. Crepo on a champion he doesn't necessarily like that much, but is playing for the team.
Yeah.
And Cop is on Caitlyn, a prototypical lane bully. This should be the time that Curse's bottom lane excels.
And hopefully Cop can fall back into his old ways of always just having a consistent high CS, making sure that even if the lane isn't won, he went even and then could still participate in the team fights. Because remember, he was always a utility AD carry on the back line, dishing out shred damage or armor pen, and then the team would go in.
Yeah, and then Cop actually has been evolving his game a little bit over time to get a little bit more aggressive, to find the right positioning in team fights. And maybe he's done a little bit of falling back this split because Curse hasn't had the most confidence overall.
It seemed like they were a bit hesitant on his AD carry picks. He almost went for Draven this game as well. It was a hover. It was something he played very well last split, but they're still kind of deciding. We see a lot of players consistently going for the same champion in these games. 2 Kazakhs for high. Snoopy played 2 Kazakhs when he had the chance.
Yeah.
They're definitely liking what works right now, and they're not trying to push any limits. But this time, EG is going to try the Garthus, going to try the Jarvan, and like you said, Kreppel will be on Zyra to see if they can come out with a big win here. Quas not too bad off against that Inox in the top lane. Has the CS lead from being there first. It looks like they're trading damage pretty equally. He has a level up, so
yeah,
might see the gank coming in.
Quas should be pushed up for quite some time in this lane. The only big fear is if Snoopy does hit level 6, he could go big. I like how Snoopy went red to red as far as buffs go, and now he's picking up his blue. It does delay his ganking potential a little bit, meaning if I Will Dominate found something here, it would work. He walks through ward. EG's got to get out of there.
Ping coming back. Altec holding on that relentless pursuit. There's a dodge there. Kind of forced.
It was a bit of a dodge, but it was also throwing the cocoon from out of range.
Yeah, a little forced.
It pretty much, the projectile died off before it got there. And a bit of wasted time for I Will Dominate, burning no summoners and only a small amount of time from EG's bottom lane.
See how Snoopy gets into the lanes with Jarvan. A very effective gap closing gank, especially if you can get the walk in first. Boy has that pink ward below him, so he's safe from any Snoopy trouble for now. And he's got 28 to 28 in the mid lane, so Pobelter is actually not farming too bad. Keep it even.
Yeah. Doran's ring start as well. Nothing spectacular. Inox is surviving against Quas, which is important. And there's a strange dynamic between these teams, I feel like, in this game, where EG isn't coming in with the mindset that they need to win this game, whereas Chris is, which kind of allows EG to play with a little bit of abandon. And maybe this gank walking through ward, how much can he get onto Quas? Pretty fast, Lulu.
Nice, gets the Whimsy on, 5 seconds of speed
Might not
there.
be
That's
angled.
going to be slowed off. Oh, he does get the knockup. Red buff is on. They shouldn't be able to kill him. He waited on the shield, so
yeah,
very nice job. A little bit of time wasted for Snoopy there, but that's lane pressure. Inox would love to get back.
Yeah, Quas doesn't have to burn Flash, but he does have to respect the fact that Jarvan is there. He goes back, buys a ward, Chalice as well, because he's been farming pretty well.
Yeah, that worked out nicely in his timing.
Not a loss for Quas whatsoever.
Pushed up in the bottom lane, Cop and Xpecial doing what they can on that Caitlyn, trying to be a lane bully. Not too much CS in the lead there. You just keep it going steady. Get Cop fixed up once again. It looks like they're not enjoying the particle issue.
Yeah, interesting issues with Cop. We'll have to get to the bottom of this one. A very split up early game here. Obviously Dominate stepping away at the start. Now Cop with his second pause.
Let's see, get an idea of what is going on. Complaining he's getting a little bit of jitter in the game. Not smooth play for him, so we're going to get that restarted, get that all fixed up. Might just be a video issue. Looking at what this could do to these teams, obviously pauses happen. They happen in regular games. They happen in professional games. It's the amount of composure you can hold, understanding what you have and that it's not lost just due to a little bit of time.
Yeah, and Curse, by all means, is a very experienced team. Quas is the newest, I mean, not the newest addition to the team, but the newest addition to the LCS. Xpecial's been here since the start. Cop has played in every LCS game.
Yeah, not many players.
Boy's been around since the start of it. I Will Dominate has been around for a very long time as well. So they're a very experienced team, used to this pausing scenario. EG on the other side as well. 2/5 of the team is very experienced. The other 3 are 18 years old or younger. So a nice mix of seniority and youngsters, I would say.
Who can hold or control the pause the best? The youngsters or the older guys? Can you teach an old dog new tricks? Right now, everybody's staying composed, keeping the hands warm. Inox, one of the men of the hour that we've been talking about a little bit, being a huge controller for EG in their wins. When he gets going, it's very well. And lately, when he's been down, he's been able to pick himself back up without too much help, which was not the case previously. When EG would fall behind, they'd really try to help each other out, and then it's almost like pulling each other down.
Start panicking.
Right.
When they're falling behind. That was their big problem in the spring split. They'd be down about 1,000 gold and then just go for initiations immediately, even when they were not advantageous for them. But once again, this game is very close in the early game. Cop is loading back into the game. Should be a very short play right here, and we should be able to get right back into the play.
Everybody loving it. They're ready for the game. An action-packed game to start the day. Let's see what we have coming in here as they match up. First versus Evil Geniuses. This game needs to be won by one of these teams as they look at their records.
Yeah.
Look at how many times they have to play each other and the caliber of teams coming into the league. New players on both teams, and really it's kind of turned into an unknown commodity. We knew what skill Special was bringing to the team, but that skill hasn't shined through yet.
And we know it's still early in the season, but these guys, because they're playing for 6th right now, got to remember, top 6 make it into the playoffs. Those are the guys that have a chance to go to World.
Right.
7 and 8 automatically get dropped into that promotion tournament. And that's the spot that these guys are kind of fighting for right now. I know Curse has their eyes set higher, but they have to worry about the immediate right now. They're sitting at 1 and 4. They need this win to pull themselves into 6th.
Back onto the Rift. Back into the action. 5:45 has passed. Level 6 is almost hitting on the map. We've actually traveled quite a ways in those levels, so we could see some more ganks coming in once the 6s do hit. Every lane quite even as we would expect it to be in the Curse vs. EG matchup. Belter. The level 6 comes in immediately, and that's when he thinks, Boy says, I can take this, but I didn't get as much damage as I wanted, so you're just going to leave the lane.
Well, he did burn the exhaust of Belter. Gonna push him back immediately. That's that level 6 threat for Voyboy. Voyboy likes maxing his E on Yasuo, or many other Yasuos like maxing his Q. So more focus onto the mobility moves, which is ideal against Karthus.
Out-positioning still means outplaying. Cop keeping the farm up, 52 to 50. Got a Cutlass coming back in the hands of Voyboy as Inox teleports back to the top lane. Just a Scepter. Going to keep him actually pretty healthy in this situation, so he should be able to farm around Quas now and along with him. Waiting for Snoopy a second chance to the top lane.
Mobility boots on Jarvan.
It's been a while since we've seen him.
But he sweeps the Tri-Brush instead of the river. He must feel like he's fast enough to make it through a ward, even if it's warded elsewhere. But with Quas level 6, the kill potential is next to nothing from a level 5 Jarvan. I feel like he's wasting his time.
Quas's movements are very safe. And it actually allows, or not allows, but causes Snoopy to stand there and question whether he's going to go or not, wasting a bit of time there.
Yeah.
Now treading waters back towards that area.
So strange, though, with mobility boots, he kind of has to
gank.
Does go down.
Yeah, got the Whimsy out. Only a few more seconds on that. They get a great pop-up. That is going to be the forced ultimate, holding on to the Summoner Flash, the longer cooldown, and gets himself out safely.
Yeah, you can see there, even with everything landing pretty much perfectly for EG, they can't even burn the flash. The kill pressure wasn't there. Now, they hold a little bit of kill pressure. Maybe Snoopy's hoping for a return gank at level 6, but really, he is trying to force this top lane gank.
Quas is a solid laner at
going
not
to get
dying.
up top.
He remembers what Mundo does. The ultimate makes you live. So does Lulu's. He's perfectly fine in that top lane, putting himself in a sticky situation. And like you said, Snoopy still wasting a bit of time there. Nice CS. Getting the hooks in.
Securing that cannon minion for Cop. Cop up 8 CS, able to buy his BF sword right there. Obviously, though, no domination as of yet. It's a very dangerous lane matchup to play as Zyra against a Thresh. You get hit with one hook, you are basically dead. Lucky they have Lucian, though, to return a lot of fire. Something does happen. Snoopy zooming around real fast. Running in circles faster than usual. It's just not a good game for him right now.
Have Frenzy on that one to get a few more attacks in quick and get himself out. Dominate. Puts a war back down so he can bread.
And Snoopy's a little bit scared of an Elite Steal right now.
Oh, yeah. He's walking back and forth, making sure that nobody's in his territory. Got a ping again towards the top lane. Inox says there is a ward in this brush. So we may see Snoopy, if he does decide to go top, go for the lane gank, which he has not tried to do yet.
Yeah, but the thing is, Quas was smart in the fact that he really prioritized his flash during the gank, because he'll need that when Snoopy hits level 6 so he can escape. The only way in which Snoopy can kill Quas top lane is if Quas burns his flash, probably to Inox one-on-one, and then Snoopy could commit with his Cataclysm. Outside of that, I feel like he's wasting time. Lulu is an incredibly safe top laner, especially against Shyvana.
It's another thing re-picking champions that haven't been seen in a while can do. Without that flash, you are stuck in Jarvan's ultimate. EG can use that to their advantage every fight. Save time the flash is right for Curse. Dominate. Going in on Belter a little bit with Voyboy. They look for a free kill there, but don't find much as they pressure for blue.
Curse has a lot of power over EG right now. If Yasuo can find Karthus, in the right spot, they could burst him down. Also, Dominate knows he is much stronger in a fight against Jarvan at this juncture in the game. But they still don't do the full invade. There's a little bit of fear in them yet.
Yeah, they have good vision for it. Curse playing very safe. Usually the call would be that let's do this, but maybe not. But they know what they're doing right now. 10 minutes into the game, a bit of a gold lead in their favor. No real item advantage in any lane. Snoopy's going to go ahead and give this to Pole Belter, so we may actually see something coming up quite soon in that objective engagement.
Yeah.
It'll be good zone control by Pole Belter. Crepo.
Honestly, even though Snoopy's wasted time in the top lane, he's kind of kept Inox farming. He stopped Quas from being able to shut him down. It wasn't about kill pressure, it was about farm pressure more. Because the rest of the lanes for EG are doing pretty well. Dominate hasn't been able to affect those other lanes while Snoopy was up doing his thing on Jarvan. And the late game scaling of EG does look superior. They're only down 500 gold in the laning phase and holding pretty strong. Things are not bad for EG right now.
Not at all. Inox getting his cutlass, as he does, going for the damage Shyvana. And it looks like they're going to meet and greet with Quas in the top lane. Finally, that lane gank to come in.
So much attention being paid to Inox.
You got room. Just tuck in the top side.
He probably would have had room to make it in. And approach. You can see the vision just right in between there. That creep, if he could have killed the side creep, I believe it would have cut off the vision. But Snoopy cannot get out of that brush right now.
Wow.
Spidey senses.
Oh, man. Snoopy is not having a fun time in this top lane going for Quas.
Meanwhile, though, look at the farm. Dominate is at 45. Snoopy's at 42. The itemization is about the same. And there's only 250 gold on Dominate above Snoopy. As much time as Snoopy wastes, Dominate isn't really capitalizing on it.
Quas has done well for himself with all that pressure. He's
Look at all the experience Snoopy got sitting in the lane, too. He's level 8, actually.
Getting back, actually caught up to Dominate right now. Pole Belter trying to soak up CS. He sees that Void Boy has been taking his own wraiths, and we have movement here probably from EG. Looks like Dragon could be in the near future.
Both of them walk through a ward right there,
And
unfortunately.
Axis going up. They were looking for Void Boy.
Still, though, a lot of inaction from Curse, I'd have to say.
For amount of coverage they have, just kind of sitting around.
Yasuo is farming pretty well against Karthus, but you can say Karthus is farming pretty well against Yasuo. Finally, Pole Belter gets caught out.
Oh, that's the blue buff. Who's going to get it? Pole Belter looking for a flash, gets next to the wall, hits it. Oh, into the hole, comes over. Pop making the waltz up to give a little bit of assistance there.
Yeah, I think Pole Belter was rotating that way to ward, but it really wasn't worth it. That's the trick with Karthus against Yasuo. As soon as he deviates a little bit,
This
he's in
could
danger.
be very bad. The flash in. That means Xpecial's in the fight. Crepo gets hit up. He's right in the middle. Quas is now in, and everybody is trying to go head-to-head here. Altec taking shots from Cop on the bottom side. Inox being huge right now. A few more hits. The shield to Xpecial. Cop flashes, and he summoner heals for the team. That's going to be huge to help people stay alive. One last shot. Cop coming up big in the end of this fight. Oh my gosh, Quas goes for the extra mile and gets it.
EG really committed. After they had Pole Belter dead, they thought they had the 4v5-1 because Curse burned a lot in the previous engagement, but it was just not to be. A very sloppy looking fight for Evil Geniuses. Gives Curse a pretty big lead. Yeah, take another look at this one. Crepo does land it all to the Dragon Pit, but he's so far ahead of the rest of his team that it's not really beneficial. The Zyra ultimate is often used as a peel, not as an initiate. And you can see Altec didn't really get to auto-attack at all during that fight. Then the Karthus ultimate comes up right as the shields of Curse are there as well, does very little. And they end up just having to run away. Nice flash by Quas here at the end.
Oh, he puts the E on him as well, guaranteeing the glitter lands. Very well played, smart moves, and just really well coordinated throughout the entire thing. That's a 2K lead. Curse now in the lead. We always say they're good from behind, but they actually do seem to falter a bit when they're ahead. They get themselves into a bad situation and try to take a little bit more, and it comes back to bite them. Right now, doing a very good job of just clearing out. What they got is good for now. Let's let EG make a mistake and have them try to go for more. Got back to the bottom lane. 135 to 117 as he does finally pull ahead in CS there. Now 202.
Yeah, that fight is going to do big things for Curse. Also, a lot of wards being built by Cop and X Special.
Yeah.
Really trying to keep track of Snoopy. They know he went mobility boots on Jarvan, and they know he spent a lot of time top, but now they figure he's going to try a new home. Not necessarily working. And actually, the Dragon didn't go down during that last fight, so this remains a point of contention.
Uh-oh. Krepo a little too far out here. It looks like Void Boy is going to get one attack on. They throw down the ultimate. Krepo is going to get hit up a few more times. Cop finds the 3-0-2 for himself. Now they're going to be going on to Snoopy. He gets very caught up in his own. Forced to flash out of Cataclysm because he doesn't want to drop it to save
You know what,
back.
though? A 1-for-1 in a 4v3 for EG with Krepo falling and Void Boy on the other side is good for EG. The unfortunate thing is, Quas is starting to take over in that top lane.
Pobelter hopefully can get some more pressure on the mid. He has good coverage around him in deep wards, but he has to be careful. Looks like he's going to actually go back and get the blue buff here from Snoopy.
Pobelter doing very important things right now, trying to de-ward the pinks. He doesn't have the time to stick around and clear those wards, though. He needs to go get his blue buff and run away from the collapsing team that would have went for him.
Back from Snoopy. A little bit of chillax time here for Evil Geniuses. They don't have their jungler out, and that is a tough time to have that happen.
Yeah, that's Dragon. Absolutely Dragon. As soon as Pobelter walked over that pink ward and they knew he was going up for blue, Curse knew the positioning of pretty much the entire EG team, knowing that Inox was top lane with his teleport on cooldown, and they could very easily just run for Dragon and secure.
I like what Kobe said yesterday when in placing your wards and the vision it gives you. It's kind of predicting the 30 seconds of not seeing the guy, and then hopefully having vision of him 30 seconds later. You can do that and you control the game. Right now, Curse with that ward control, really over the same spot Dig used to take down Cloud9, are controlling the map.
Curse slowly pulling ahead. I really like Quas's top lane move, though. I think that's going to hold a lot of control in this game. Especially against this Karthus, having the potential to thresh Lantern Shield. If he completes his face of the mountain as well, extra shielding, plus all the Lulu shields, it could neutralize the late fight Requiems that could otherwise pick up a lot of garbage kills around the map. Not necessarily possible against this Curse team.
That's a hook range right there. Oh, it's special. I think he predicted that. He was going to hook
predicted
back.
a juke back.
Right.
It's actually funny because talking with a lot of the supports in North America, they say X Special had a tendency in the past to hook towards the inside of the map. A lot of people were calling him out on it. He was missing a lot of hooks, so people probably started juking back on him a lot. And then when the LCS hits, he goes for that one, and they just keep running. If he would have shot ahead, it would have hit anyway.
Oh, that's the way it crumbles every time. 17.5 on the clock. They'll get the turret out of it. Enough pressure in the bottom lane is nothing that EG is going to be able to stop or want to put that on. Cop's going to allow it to take as much as possible before he gives the team and himself a bit more gold. Whoever's in the area, at least. That's 2 turrets for Curse. EG looking to break the map open still.
Yeah. The gold lead is getting worse and worse, though. And EG has next to no lane pressure, especially with the Karthus not being able to leave his lane, with Cop picking up the 3 kills. Interestingly enough, the kills weren't necessarily from the lane. It was just Cop and X Special having pretty good team fights against EG.
Right.
But it doesn't mean that Cop's not going to be a strong threat here with those 3 kills.
3-0-2 Caitlyn. Get her to any crit items, and that becomes a nasty, nasty auto attack. Level 10s, 12s around the board for your solo lanes. Looks like Curse is actually trying to dictate a little bit more here as they put Cop towards the mid lane. We'll start getting some shots down in the mid turret with the help from Xpecial, which, like you were saying a little bit before, Cop and Xpecial definitely seems like things are panning out for them, but also in a game where EG kind of put themselves onto the limb with a Zyra pick for Krepo.
And Krepo has done decently from a scoreline perspective, but he has been very aggressively positioned on Zyra, which Zyra generally needs to be more of a peeler.
See where Snoopy comes in. He's a big factor in that initiation. Soaking up some experience as Krepo stays close. 203 in the mid lane for Pobelter, doing what Karthus does with Skittles for 177. Cop is kind of evening that out with his 30 CS lead, or 20-ish CS. Right now the top lane, Quas is definitely taking over on Inox. 182 to 157. Also looking for a Rabadon second, so what he puts out is not going to be expected for the rest of the team because we haven't really seen him yet.
It's very interesting what Inox is doing as well. Looking at his build, lifesteal and armor. against a Lulu, who is primarily magic damage. So he's itemizing for the team fights and is basically abandoning the lane. Quas can get whatever farm he wants, and Inox is trying to find his farm elsewhere and become a force in team fights.
And you can see he's a little worried, warding right even next to him to make sure they're not planning any Fnatic rush attacks. This is going to be a tough one for Evil Geniuses to find their way out of. CRS is definitely putting the stranglehold on, and they're starting to suffocate each lane that they can. Giving Alltech a little breathing room in the top lane, but he is going to be necessary for fights, and he is pretty much a full item behind. He's got gold in his pocket, but only sitting on a phage after that Bloodthirster.
The shielding right now from Quas is going to be immense now that he's completed that death cap. I have to say. The 329 ability power, the ultimate while growth is increasing health by over 600,
400.
and the spammable health picks as well is the more important thing. 437 health. It's going to make those Requiems not hit very hard.
That's true. You can cancel out twice on a Requiem. Give somebody wild growth, give them a shield. You also have Expecial's shield. Wouldn't be surprised to see a Locket come out at some point, dominate, hatching a ward there in mid. He's going to walk off of it, though.
It's what Dominate is most likely building towards. Is that Lock of the Iron?
Yikes. Crepo.
Vision control.
Oh, no! That guy didn't go over the wall. Crepo even just taking the auto attacks down to half HP from Expecial. And EG trying to regain a bit of control. Snoopy getting the timer on the blue. They're losing a lot of control real quick.
And really just forcing this mid lane press right now. It's very difficult for EG to get in position. Pobelter has his Zhonya's. It would be a time for EG to think they could win a fight if they caught it just right. And with the Dragon coming up in 30 seconds, this could be that force that we see from EG, kind of a textbook force. Whenever they fall a little bit behind, though, just dive in for a big fight. This is kind of the one you'd think they'd go for. It's either the Dragon or they push mid in response to CRS taking the Dragon. They need to get something out of this.
We see Snoopy there. Actually, Smite stole that last blue, so his Smite is back up after the engage. Oh, dear. This is Dominate without Smite up right now, so they got to be careful
EG is in all kinds of trouble right now.
CRS funneling through. They are not going to be engaged on. Quas taking Inox by himself. Not a good situation when people are getting 1v1'd off on the side when the team is getting piled on. 4,000, 5,000 almost the gold lead coming in, and CRS, they're pushing it.
And CRS can do whatever they want right now. EG is flashing red on support. Crepo's at 25%. He had to go back to base. It meant all the pressure from EG is gone. They got poked down enough just getting vision control. This Dragon becomes uncontestable, but Snoopy is posturing like he wants to go.
Smites are up on both sides. He goes in. It goes to Dominate. Very hard member to steal it from. A lot of damage to Snoopy, but they're dropping on both sides. Gushing blood out into the river. Inox goes down finally. Two members for EG are down. Blinking red only for CRS as they get themselves around. Finally, Boy gets sucked up in the flower of Crepo, and it looks like an ace on the EG.
That fight was a disaster for EG. They should not have went for that when they were already down in gold. It was a 4v5, and it was not a clean initiation. It was good that CRS was able to clean up there, because EG was completely out of sorts heading into that fight. The Dragon plus turrets. The main reasons they don't go into this is Snoopy, first off, isn't coordinated. Inox is still at half health. It was a great interrupt on Inox's ultimate, which hurt as well. Alltech has no protection because the support is down. Yes, CRS did play this fight well considering the circumstances, but it's a fight that never should have happened. Crepo tried to come in late just to support his team that was completely in and out of position. And it's a, what was that, an ace for one?
Yeah, right.
Plus the Dragon.
Yeah, Boy went down at the very end, so he actually almost made it out alive, which means, again, CRS pretty much using everything they have under the sun, and they still didn't come out on top of the fight. 24 minutes, 10-4. We're seeing about a 9,000 gold lead after that. Crazy. 4 turrets. Still, turret shutout right now against EG. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's absolutely out of control here. I mean, this was the question coming into this one. EG looked really good yesterday against Complexity. And we were going to try and figure out, is that EG looking good or being good, or is it just Complexity having a bad game?
Right.
And where is the hierarchy of these NE teams going to start stacking out? CRS has had an incredibly difficult schedule up until this point. playing against the 5 best teams in the North American LCS, probably by perception standards, but also by the standings. This is a game that Curse, by all means, should be able to win if they want to be in the conversation for top teams in North America. They should actually be dominating it, which they are right now.
It's definitely a different Curse when they are ahead. They are moving on what calls they're making. They don't seem to have any second guesses. Here, even putting pressure onto the red buff, almost getting it on the Q. But it goes over to Altec, which is going to be working perfectly.
Yeah, and they're actually starting the Baron. I mean, they have pink ward control. They know where Inox is. They know Quas could come teleport in. And if EG can't get positioning to check it,
5,000
it's
health.
going to be the Baron completely for them.
3,700. Baron down to 1,600. It's going to easily be smited out. They missed the hook. I don't know if Xpecial really wanted to take that ride, but a Baron for Curse. And right now, they have to feel like they're being uncontested. They should be able to walk this one in.
They most likely can. Look at Cop, 5-0-4. 3 big completed items before Altec can even get his Trinity Force.
Wow.
Voidboy actually bypassed his Blade of the Ruin King to go for the incredibly aggressive Infinity Edge second Yasuo. They are all in right now. Big items across the board. Lock into the Iron Solari completed.
Yeah.
They might just look to dive this immediately.
Cop's going to be able to put out traps. They have such good, not even disengage, but just hold at a turret. The wind wall, the traps, the shields they can throw out, and then just the step back disengage. And Quas still in the top lane. They're doing this as 4.
Yeah, this is completely one-sided. 26 minutes into the game. Curse doing their best to push in here. They have the Baron regen, and EG, they have no answer for this whatsoever.
Cop giving himself the double trap safety as they go for the first inhibitor, and they are succeeding this now, actually backing up into their base, and it looks like they would have went back to the Nexus turrets if they allowed Curse. It's going to be the outer turrets now, not something that EG can really guard. They don't have the chance. And the big thing is here is usually you want to kind of get in on a team that's poking you out, but EG can't even decide to go in with Snoopy, and he's the big initiation.
The Jarvan pick hasn't worked out for Snoopy. He wasted a lot of time in the early game. The Karthus never got the ability to roam around every time Pobelther's in a fight. It's kind of a full commit thing. That's the nature of the team comp for EG. It's just they've fallen quite far behind, and Curse holds all the cards right now. They took down that last turret very easily, and now they're all 5 here. Great wind wall. Look at the poke they get on that turret just from one wave alone.
Got a little bit more time. Keep your eyes on that mid wave. Once it starts to pour in with the super minions, Curse will be a little bit happier about making their way into the base, and it's quite close. We're going to have to see if EG needs to spread themselves thin to take care of that mid lane soon. 27 minutes into the game, second inhibitor turret very close to falling with a bit of healing coming in every so often. Cop once again to the front line to keep those shots coming as they pepper the face.
Crepo's not even able to be in this fight. This turret's going down, and Snoopy gets hooked.
They're
Disaster.
not even going to wait. It's now when the minions start pouring in the mid to the back line. A great cataclysm. Snoopy's helping, but he goes down early. Cop is held, but from the long range, he can still dish out the damage from the back line. Beautifully orchestrated by Curse. The ace comes in. Crepo's going to be going down. The double extra passes being used by Pobelther and Crepo, but no kills other than Voidboy to come in.
And the teleport into that mid lane turret. Curse looking for a quick, easy 28-minute win.
Very nicely done. 15-5, a turret shutout against Evil Geniuses. A 20-minute win for Curse over EG.
Yeah, and honestly, that was a walk in the park for Curse. They must feel really good after that one. They had so many pauses and delays in the early game that being able to come out and win in 28 minutes, 15 kills to 5, against a team they were tied with in the standings has got to be very fulfilling for this Curse team.
Composing themselves very well and playing a very strong game. Quas in the top lane, it looked like EG wanted to focus that. They're like, unsure pick, Quas on Lulu, let's focus it. He was the safest Lulu ever. Drew 3 top lane ganks multiple times. It was over 30 seconds that the gank took to happen in the top lane, and you cannot have that happen.
No, it is not something EG wanted to happen, that's for sure. But it does kind of go to show Curse that the tough games they've been having haven't really been for nothing. They really have been playing against the top competition in the North American LCS, and their record will bounce back. They still have yet to play Complexity, the last place team in the LCS, and they just handily defeated EG. They obviously want to be competing with Cloud9, LMQ, COG, Dignitas, all these big teams, even TSM. But they're taking care of business. That's kind of step one. It's a long season. You play everybody 4 times. They got to pick up their wins like this.
And they really, you win a game and you kind of can go on, but they should definitely go back, look at this game and why everything happened like that. Not every team obviously is going to play like EG did this game. They seem to be out of sorts, but Curse was making the right moves. And no matter what the other team is doing, you can move around the map with vision. And Curse had at least 5-6 wards down all the time. They did everything they needed to, and Quas, still, big factor in this game over and over because of how safe he played.
It was a nice top lane Lulu pick. We saw it work not very well for Dyrus.
Right.
Against COG yesterday, he did pick up that double kill, but then was mainly ineffective in team fights. And this was just a much better pick for the situation.
Yeah.
Very easy combos for Voyboy to either peel back or go forward. If they dove on someone, you could just get a Lulu ult, and immediately Yasuo would just fly back for peel. It was just instantaneous type of synergy right there. And that's what EG was doing. They were all trying to dive in. He was getting 3- and 4-man knockups in these fights.
And we can't forget something we mentioned at the beginning, the bot lane of Curse. Cop and Xpecial seem to do great this game. Cop bringing back out Caitlyn. He's been going back and forth with his AD carries. It seems like this one hit home again.
Yeah.
We may see the Caitlyn coming out, but it seemed like him and Xpecial definitely gelled a lot more this game.
They were up in CS in the lane
Right.
against Altec. But like we said before, that's kind of what they need to be able to do. It's a new bot lane that they're playing against. They brought in Xpecial to improve the bot lane synergy.
Yeah.
Most experienced support really in North America, and a very experienced AD carry. Cop has shown strong. They need to continue to build this. Laning together is a good start. We'll see if they can continue that.
So EG as well, some troubles to be worked out here. Obviously, Altec has his shining moments in the team fights. We see the laning phase go a little awry for him, and with Caitlyn on Cop, he was easily able to bully that out. But Altec also didn't come back in the fights this time, so EG just lost a little too much ground. And congrats to Curse for kind of holding you in and taking it that time and being composed about it.
That's the big thing, is composure, because the tough start to the season record-wise weighs on a lot of teams. Being able to come in and take care of business is a good sign.
Alrighty, now we're going to head over to the analyst desk for a first-hand account of that game.
Thank you very much, Riv. What's up, guys? Got Voyboy and Quas here. Already waving to the camera. But obviously, you guys played really well that game. Under a 30-minute win as well, which is awesome for you guys. Talk to me about your thoughts heading into that game, how you felt.
So yeah, we had a rough Super Week. We went 1-3. Going into that week, we were feeling really confident. I would honestly say that was the best I've ever felt, like as a team on Curse since I joined. Like in terms of strength and just confidence in our ability to win games. And then yeah, we went into the week. We had a series of really close games, and we ended up coming out with a 1-3, which was really disappointing to us. And it definitely wasn't something that we wanted or expected, but we just took it for what it was, and we made like a commitment to work even harder and just try to pick ourselves back up, because it's the start of the season. No matter how strong we thought we were, we obviously have a lot of stuff to still improve on, and that's something that we can definitely do. I have no doubt in my mind that by the end of the season, we can continue growing and just keep getting stronger, and I think we can definitely vie for that world spot, top 2, top 3. But right now, yeah, yesterday we lost to Cloud9, obviously one of the best teams in North America for the longest time. We felt pretty good about our chances versus them, and we just made like a crucial mistake at Dragon, and we got wrecked for it. And then going into EG, we just felt like, okay, we know we can beat EG. Like, we've been consistently doing well versus them. Let's just play our game and close it out. And that's pretty much what we were able to do, which made us all pretty just relieved, I guess.
Yeah, it was a pretty relieving game. So Quas, Voy was talking about how you guys felt super, super strong coming into week 1. Are you feeling still very good about the team in week 2, 1-1?
Yeah, we still feel pretty good. Just the first week was really rough, but we know what mistakes we made, and we know what to fix. So we know that we can get stronger, and just with longer time we have as a team, we're gonna get better.
So what goes into fixing issues? Like, what do you do when you go back home when you're practicing? Like, how do you say we won't make this mistake again?
Well, it all comes to practice. Like, you have to practice those things that you made the mistakes on, so it doesn't happen at LCS. So, for example, there's many things like certain habits that you have to fix them with practice, and then you will translate them over at the LCS games.
Who's helping you guys sort of identify habits you need to fix or new strategies to employ? Is it just you guys amongst yourselves, or do you have a staff behind you?
We identify some things, but we do have a staff behind us. We have our analyst, Mark. He helps us a lot with stuff that we don't notice normally, and like paths to take in level 1s or whatever. So it's really nice to have an analyst behind you to help you out.
And Void, to you, when you're playing up against teams, right? You've got 2 games a week, and you've got about 5 days to prepare for each one. Are you able to identify like key weaknesses or key strengths in your opposition that you're like, we're going to target this, we're going to get around that?
Yeah, we definitely look at like picks and ban patterns, what they prioritize, what we prioritize, and how we can use that against them. It's definitely something that takes a lot of practice. I think Cloud9 is one of the best teams at doing that right now, and for a while they have been. It's something that we've been working on, and it's something that is just crucial to any team's success. So throughout the week, the champions and stuff that you're practicing, what you form your pools around, ideally are going to be composed around countering or doing well against the teams that you're going to be playing against. And when you go into like a playoff scenario or something like that, it's a lot harder. But when you're in the regular season playing best of ones, and for really the exception of Super Week, because you play a bunch of teams anyway, you can prepare pretty well for most of the teams that you're going up against.
Nice, and of course that worked out really well for you guys in this game. I actually want to pull ourselves back into the game. Then we have a couple of replays we want to talk about. First one is around a 12-minute dragon fight. We'll pull that replay up. This is one I think Dominic gets a really good smite, and you end up winning the fight 4-1, if I remember it properly.
Yep.
If we can roll the clip, you go for it.
All right, so right here, we know both our top laners have TP. They start TPing in, we come in. We just basically start dragging to bait them to coming into us to start the fight, and then they come in. We get a few kills here. The Karthus was dead, so we knew that we had the advantage going into it. We knew that Karthus ult was still up, and here it's kind of a very like scary situation, but we have shields, and Lulu still has mana, so she can just keep going in. And then Quas gets a nice, really hyphy E-flash Q and kills Shyvana as well. So we came out ahead off that, and I think going into that situation, we had momentum, and we knew that we could win that fight right off the Karthus kill that we like Flash Akun and Flash Yasuo knocked up. So we pretty much knew we had the advantage there, and once we got those kills, we just were able to take control of the map and pretty much didn't give EG any opportunities to come back.
So once you guys start to control the map, how do you play once you're like, we're like 4,000 gold up, we got a bunch of kills, they're afraid to fight us. How do you push that lead forward?
So one thing to keep in mind is you cannot let them have any picks. So they might try to do like extended lane ganks or something. So you have to be really wary and play safe. Do not throw your lead, and then just play for the objectives. Like, you know, oh, this is coming up soon. We should prepare for this. So you plan ahead, and then you do the lanes. You do the lanes you want to do. Like, for example, sending the bottom or something for the blue, and then that's how you progress. Just keep fighting, and then once you're ahead and not make any mistakes to throw.
Yeah, it seems like you guys really held control of that game really well. It was a really clean game for you guys. I want to call up actually a second replay then. This is the dragon I thought I was talking about. Actually, I might just be wrong in all cases, but this is another dragon fight, 24 minutes in. I might have missed them entirely, but if you want to walk us through this battle as well.
All right, so right here, we thought they were just going to give up the free dragon because we knew that we were stronger than them, but they actually come in. Snoop, I believe, looks for the smite steal. He goes in, we get the Yasuo ulti off, and then we're just all kind of in a clump. There was 3 people clumped up in a line, so I was able to get a lot of really good AoE damage, and we kill, I think we ace him here. I think I go down for my team, the Martyr, but right here we basically ace them, one for 5, and we had the option to look for Baron here or look to just push down mid and reset and take control of the map. If we had gone for Baron, we knew that they had TP, so that was kind of a risk, and we just erred on the side of caution and just went for the mid turret. And at that point, we knew we were 100% stronger than them, so we just were able to go down mid, take turrets, and they really couldn't contest any of those.
And that worked really well for you guys. I want to talk about the team comp your opponents had because they've got Jarvan, Karthus, Zyra's on there as well. It's a bunch of like layered area of effect damage, and you're stuck in that sort of a fight. Quas, when you go into a battle against this kind of team, do you try to position yourself a certain way? Do you look for certain kinds of fights?
Well, yeah, Lulu top is like way different than other top laners, so I don't have to dive into them because the team comp they has like Karthus, Zyra is really good for when you dive into them. So it was really nice to have a Lulu, so I could like stand back, see myself to be really fast, and then like E like their support to chunk them or something. So it's important to have it was pretty good for us to have a high mobility top laner that could provide a lot of utility against our team comp.
Yeah, and that worked really well for you guys. So I want to start talking about the future then for you guys. So next week, you fight Complexity and Team Solo Mid. Teams that are having moderate success so far this season. Talk to me about these teams and how you feel like you match up against them.
So Complexity, I think they are still kind of developing how they want to play and stuff. So I think we should have the advantage against them. That's a team similar to EG that we're pretty confident going up against. And then as for TSM, I think they're also in a bit of a struggle, just like us right now. We had a really tough nail biter game against them in the first week that could have honestly gone either way. Yeah. So I would say that we are pretty equal strength teams right now, despite our record being really bad, and I think we'll give them a pretty good game.
Nice. So last question for you guys then. You guys talked about how good you felt in week 1, how close the games were, and they were. You guys nearly actually 4-0 Super Week. With all these games being really close and unfortunately having a bad record to start it out, how do you actually stack yourselves among the teams right now? And then how long will it take you guys to be that number 1 that you're looking for?
Right now, I mean, I think results are all that matter, pretty much. So right now I think before this last game, we were in like 6th, 7th, 8th place. We were tied for that. So I would say that's our standing, and that's probably what we deserve right now. But I think we are a much better team than what that reflects.
Yeah.
And I think with just more time to practice and fix out like these pretty easy mistakes that we've been making consistently in like late game scenarios, I'm not going to go too much into detail, but it's something that we've had a problem with. I think that would go a long way to improving ourselves, just making us a more solid team. So I would honestly say that we can stack up against any of the top teams right now. I mean, we gave LMQ, TSM, CLG all really close games. We beat Dig. I would say people consider those guys the top 4 right now. And I think next week, the weeks after that when we play them, we should be able to come out with wins. So looking forward to that.
All right, yeah, looking forward to see you guys play. Guys, congratulations on your win. We'll see you next week as well for another hopeful 2-0. Guys, we got more games going on, but going to kind of back up and refresh our broadcaster mana. But stay tuned to see if your response to our Twitter question of the day is going to be read on air. Then it's time for our next match, Complexity versus Counter Logic Gaming. Don't go anywhere.
Does everyone here love League of Legends? I love League of Legends.
Can we try to get it here? Yeah, you guys can finish it.
Hook on driving.
Okay, good. Okay. Going in.
Yep. Healing, I'm healing.
I'm going to board.
This guy, Kite down. Inox, kill tanks line.
Yep.
Hook on Lucian.
Okay. Lucian.
Kiting back.
Okay. I'm repelling.
Yeah.
Okay. We're good.